Good evening, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. So inflation is 9.1%. And what I'm noticing is trending analysis of all the different consumer websites are telling me that people are still spending at an astronomical rate. I mean, it's mind-blowing that people are still spending money as inflation has soared to 9.1%. Now, the most staggering thing here is we're spending more money when things cost the most. Like, just look at the thumbnail, family. Inflation is at 9.1. I mean, if we look at any statistics within the past 20 years, it has yet to reach 9.1%. So there's a lot to be explained here. There's a lot to cover, and we need to understand the economy of one mindset when you're going to spend more money when things cost the most. Now, let me know, does that make any sense? So let's go over the numbers. Current U.S. inflation rate from 2000 to 2022. And as we state currently, the U.S. inflation rate is at 9.1%. And as we look back to 2012, I'm just going to give you the whole 20 years because even in 2000, the amount still wasn't at 9.1%. That people, as I look at all the data, all the metrics of all the different consumer price products, that people are still spending at a very high rate, at a very astronomical rate. You have to be outside your mind to spend more money when things cost the most. And a lot of times people wasn't really good at math. People didn't really understand math. Well, let me tell you this. That carton of eggs, that dozen of eggs that you bought at $2.32 is now at $3. That's what we're stating. Okay, and you might see other eggs at a lower price point, but the eggs that you like, the milk that you like, the bread that you like cost more than it ever cost before. Let's take it back pre-pandemic. Before the pandemic, we're looking at 1.4% of the annual inflation rate. So that carton of eggs, that dozen of eggs at $2.32. Now let's not only quadruple and double the quadruple and octonomy that now at 8% more than it was from 1.4%. We're at 9.1%, family. What are you going to do? We even have the CEO of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, said Monday that the inflation is deeply embedded in the economy and it's unclear whether the situation will improve later this year. No one knows when the economy is going to turn around. See, a lot of you have been focusing on what? Gas. Yes, gas is a lot cheaper, right? Gas is probably down, maybe $1, maybe 40 cents, 80 cents, even to $1. But family, that's just not it. Everything else is still at a very high rate. Now, the CEO again of Goldman Sachs, he said, I expect there's going to be more volatility and there's going to be more uncertainty in the light of the current environment. We will manage all our resources cautiously, Solomon said. Now, this next part, family, is very important for we all to pay attention to, okay? Because Goldman Sachs, all of these conglomerate investment firms, they have billions and trillions of dollars. And the one thing that these people want to do is stay rich. So look for your organization to do this very same thing. Here we go. The uncertainty has Solomon operating his New York-based bank cautiously, and the firm has opted to slow its rate of new hires and cut the professional fees it pays, according to management. That means they're doing a hiring freeze. They're not going to slow the rate. Like whoever they was going to bring on, they may still bring on. But once these guys are, brought onto the job, they're not hiring no more people until they see some relief within the economy, especially when it comes to inflation. Because when inflation is up, everything costs money. Making money costs money. Investing your money costs money because everything is more expensive. Everything is more expensive. And let me tell you, when the last time you seen a broke-hearted billionaire? He looks troubled, okay? They said more money, more problems. Unclear whether the situation will improve later this year. He said, we see inflation deeply entrenched in the economy. And what's unusual about this particular period is that both demand and supply are being affected by the exogenous events, namely the pandemic and the war on Ukraine. Interesting. Solomon told analysts during a call to discuss second quarter results. Now, when we talk about the war in Ukraine, why is an investment firm like Goldman Sachs, a bank like Goldman Sachs, why are they worried about the amount of money, the amount of money that we spent on the war in Ukraine? We all understand the pandemic. Oh, that's right, because the current president has been given an ungodly amount of money to support the war in Ukraine. Whether you're for Ukraine, you don't care Ukraine, or against Ukraine, it doesn't matter. The billions of dollars do accumulate to something, and that has added to the inflation. That is why he said that. One more thing. Solomon, who leads one of the Wall Street's top advisors to corporation, then laid out one of the central debates occurring in markets right now. It is known that inflation is a multi-decade high. But how long will it persist? Now, we went from 8.8% to 8.4 to 8.6. Now we're at 9.1. And in this case, family, these numbers are not good. Let's move on. This is very important because some of you may not invest as heavily as others, so that may not affect your life, but this affects your life. This affects everyone's life. How much more are you paying for meat, poultry, fish and eggs, fruits and vegetables, electricity, utilities and gas services, and airline fees to go visit your family, even your basic household cleaning products, maybe your rent and your primary residence, and of course, if you're buying a home or not. Now, of course, the real estate market has cooled down just a bit, but it's still hot. But family, as we look at this, we're looking at the meat has increased 11.7%. We're just going to round up for shits and giggles. So we're going to say 12% that your meat, fish, and eggs has risen. Fruits and vegetables, 8%. Electricity, 14%. And now if you live in certain states like Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, all these states are experiencing a heat wave of astronomical temperatures. Like right now in Texas, we're looking at 110 degrees for today. 105 degrees today and 110 degrees tomorrow. It's already 108 degrees in Louisiana. Check your local forecasting. Yes, you're going to pay more in electricity because your air conditioning is going to cut on more often than not. Even if you have it at a high temperature like my air conditioning, I leave my air conditioning on at 78 degrees and I turn on the 10 fans in my house. And usually that's just enough to keep it cool where I'm not sweating. But for some people, they like to keep it at 74 degrees and 72 degrees. The lower you have your air conditioning, the more money you're going to pay overall. And we look at other things like fruits and vegetables, people who want to stay healthy, that's 8% more. We're looking at airline fees where people have to travel for business and also for personal reasons. That has increased 34%. Me and my family, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. See, my thing is this. You need to stop spending, family, and start saving. Stop spending and start saving. Let me tell you what you're doing. Have any of you guys ever been on a cruise? Have you ever been on a cruise? Have you ever been on the Norwegian? You've been on the Virgin Atlantic? You've been on the Royal Caribbean? You've been on Carnival? What cruise line have you been on? Have you ever went on a cruise and you didn't know how to swim? Raise your hand in the room and those back of the class. Have you ever been on a cruise and you really don't know how to swim? That is the same equivalence of you spending and not saving when things cost the most at 9.1 interest, 9.1 inflation rate. It's the exact same thing. Now, a lot of you who are really taking control of your finances, who are really balancing their budget, the one thing that you don't want to do is go out and rent now. You might just want to stay where you are. You might want to rent month to month, or you might want to get an extension of 3 to 6 months if you really needed to move. You probably just want to stay until inflation cools down, because everything is costing more. There's a rental place that's going to open up across the street from where my housing community is, and some of these rental rates are ridiculous. We're talking about leasing, family. We're talking about for a 3-bedroom apartment, you're paying over $3,000. And this is in Texas. This is in Texas, where a lot of people want to come to Texas, Louisiana, and Georgia, and Alabama. Maybe not Alabama, but people want to go to these places because things cost less. No, we're looking at rates in Texas just as though that you were living in North Carolina, the DC area, some places in Maryland, and as well as New Jersey and New York. I mean, probably not the most desirable places, but for Texas, $3,000 for rent, even for a 2 or 3 bedroom house, is still an astronomical price, family. So look at what these rates are doing. Look at it in conjunction with the inflation rate and ask yourself, do you want to pay that particular price point? Do you want to pay that amount of money? And then when it comes to household cleaner, I'm going to tell you right now, just go to the dollar store, get you some bleach and some Pine Sol. Don't mix them. Don't mix them, but did you get some bleach in your Pine Sol, and you can clean about anything. Because even household cleaning products are up 11.3%. And as we said before, it soared to 9.1 from a year ago, above the 8.8 Dow Jones estimate. See, this is the whole economy thing, family. No one can really tell you which way it's going to go. We can look at indicators and trend analysis and data and metrics, but we're all just giving educated guesses. We really don't know. See, that's the truth of the matter. Just like investments, right? We're looking at my portfolio here. We're looking at investments. Nobody really knows. I don't know that my portfolio is going to explode, or when it's going to explode, or how much money I'm going to essentially make. I just take my historical references and I do a projection model of how much money I will make 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. That's all it's really based on. Okay, RSI, the relative strength index, and looking at trending analysis throughout time. When they say time is money, they're talking about investments. Because the more time that you have for your investments to recuperate, the more money you can essentially make over the course of time. As we see today, family, I'm actually up $220. But for the year, guess what? I am down $12,000. I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not taking any money out, because if I take money out now, I've already lost 12 grand for the year. It's time for me to hold what I got. And guess what? I may even invest a little bit more, because we understand that stocks right now, shares right now are on clearance. They're on sale. That means that those stocks that you was looking at to get before are now cheaper than they were before. Now, I know a lot of you guys like, you know what? I might buy some stocks, but I'm not going to test what? I'm not going to touch Tesla. No, Elon Musk is acting a fool, and it may affect his stock. Well, let's look at it. In the last year, Tesla has been up for my portfolio $92 in the past 3 months. It's been down $266 the last month, $16 the past week. It's been up $12. And today, Tesla is essentially up around $2, okay? And they're going to have their earnings call here if you guys want to go in and listen to that. Those are really good information for you guys to understand how investors talk about some things are going to be changing, some innovations, okay? And you see right here, you see my total market value roughly around $4,000. My total return is around $1,400 at 58%. Now I'm over the average. Okay, the average is anywhere from 7-10% that most people receive on a return, but I'm up 58%. And this is how people make an substantial amount of money when you pick really good stocks to put in your portfolio, and it's giving you 20% or more. So I'm actually doubling that. I'm more than doubling the 20% or more. So I'm doing very, very well when it comes to Tesla. Okay, Tesla is one of those very innovative stocks. He keeps engineering and innovating new advances in technology with electric vehicles. So it's important for me to hold what I got, stay, and not sell my damn Tesla. Now, sooner or later, the rooster's going to come home. And we're going to have to figure out what to do with Tesla, because depending on what happens with this Twitter case that Elon Musk will eventually get in, because he backed out of this, 45 or $54 billion deal. The only reason why I am interested in it, because it will affect your Tesla stock. So that's very important to know, okay? Because this Tesla stock, if you notice, family, is around 19% of my portfolio, even though I only have 5.4 shares of it, okay? But very important for you to understand how people personal accounts deals with their business accounts and how that affect the overall stocks that person may be the CEO or owner of, okay? So let's just take one more stock in general. Let's look at Coinbase. I think I'm still losing in Coinbase. I'm still waiting for Coinbase to back down. It's down 500 and roughly $10. I'm down 85%, but I only have 1.4 shares, but I'm still down a quite deal. So nonetheless, family, it's important to look at your portfolio every now and again. Don't become too obsessed with it. But the key message here today is I really need you guys to home in on saving and really stop and slow your spending. Of course, you have to spend money for your everyday life, for your utilities, your groceries, etc. I understand those everyday bills, but if you had a big purchase that you really wanted to buy, I really just want you to hold off for a second, because everything has went up astronomically, and that item, that product, that service is going to cost you more now than it would 3 or 4 months ago. Now, there's going to be some deals out there. Like, I know Prime Day just ended. There may be some stiller deals out there. Of course, be smart. Take the deals if they're legitimate. If not, hold what you got, save your money, and you guys will be just great. But please take these words as I'm trying to inform you, not tell you, of what's going on in the economy today. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great and wonderful day. I'm out.